Hello everyone and welcome to Mothership audio album Abduction, where we open up and take a look behind the scenes and production phases of an album. We're taking a look at Svaki Minut Dragocen with Bilbord themselves, Petar Radovic and Nikola Johnny Simovic. Guys, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Hello, and thank you for inviting us.
Thanks so much for coming, guys. And I guess we'll start with the deep dive already. And we want to ask you, where did you find inspiration for the album, sound-wise and also lyric-wise? What artists inspired you to find a specific sound for the album?
Actually, I have almost the same music influence from my beginnings, very beginnings, about 10 years ago. My primary focus was actually in last couple of years was about actually escaping from some really bad vibration in the city and about lifestyle. That was our primary goal, actually, to, how do I say, to connect our sound with some influence, for example, from 20 or 30 or 50 years, but also be modern in some new music, new sound. We were talking about 3 or 4 years ago. We were talking about where we can actually explore our knowledge and where we want to be, and we started to create more ambient sound. We had the experience with psychedelics also, but we wanted actually some shoegaze, dreamy, late 80s sound. And actually, because of that, we started from scratch, because lots of stuff in that sound. You need actually totally different approach from some punchy sound. And that was it.
Yeah, I mean, when we worked together on this album, you can really hear that we drew inspiration from the 80s and the 90s, especially with bands like Slowdive and even a bit of Cocteau Twins as well, and this kind of like very dreamy, atmospheric kind of sound. And I mean, your album has a lot of different messages and ideas going around, like from Kutak to Olun and Nochi and all those kind of very different kind of messages that you want to portray. Like what song would you say has the strongest message that you want to send out to viewers, that they understand like this is what the heart of the album is?
um Maybe track number 2 or track number 6. Also, uh our first single, Poslednji Mohikanac, that was almost like a year ago. But all those songs was in actually one big basket, because lots of those lyrics getting older, and getting dealt with that. So the lyrics was with more emotion. My inspiration was with my lifetime experience, like 3 or 4 years ago. Lots of ups and downs, and etc.
And also concerning the guitar sound, which is very unique, especially in the underground scene in the Balkans, which has this very kind of dreamy, soundscapey vibe, which you, Johnny, provide on guitars. Can you tell us a bit more about how you approached sound, how you decided to create these walls of atmospheric guitar layers?
We played something like Britpop, and we lean almost everything on the bands like Oasis, Blur, Stereophonics, and bands like that. And in the meantime, we were getting more experience. And one day, Peter came and he bought a loop station pedal from
Yeah,
Boss.
correct.
And he told me this is equipment that we need to bring our sounds like we want to be unique, and to get out from the sea, from other bands that play some Britpop or something like that. So there are bands who play with pedals in Serbia, but that's more with the progressive rock or progressive metal style and something like that. And in the meantime, we get the sound like it's not like the Verve, but some bands that were post Verve, like Exit Calm is my favorite band. Also, that's also a band from England, I think Brighton. and I like their guitarist, like how he's creating his sound. I use two delays in most of the songs, combining analog and digital delay. And there is always one shorter delay, and one is a long delay with long repeats. And there is also feedback which is pointed near maximum.
Yeah, creating the wall of sound. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was really cool because when we worked on that and when you used what you already recorded through the pedals and especially the looper, and we put it into the DAW while we were recording, it was this crazy amount of sound, and it was just very kind of inspiring that we can record right now instead of this mentality like, okay, let's get it right. You just had this background of sound already fixed, and it was like, wow, it sounded amazing.
Yeah, actually, the whole music industry going to looping, not just in guitar sound. That actually, you have that in some other areas, but for us, the most important stuff was to build the noise because we are like four-piece band, always like trying to be like just one guitar, bass, drums, and vocal. And with one electric guitar, you need actually longer loop thing, and longer delays and reverb. I actually put on vocals lots of reverb. I think this this was totally different approach to the music, and I actually enjoyed when I remember all of that.
Yeah, me too. It was definitely a bit different experience than what you gave me a lot of freedom when it came to vocals, like the mixing part, but we'll get to that later, and I'm very grateful for that. And I think it sounded, different enough to be interesting and unique while not being too weird and not being too eclectic, not being something,
Exactly.
that some weird French prog band did in the 60s. So, and that was a great experience. But let's slowly get into the recording process and how we recorded the album. And of course, we have to mention recording in one of the most legendary recording places, or, well, I can say studios as well, BIGZ. So tell us a bit about your history with Bilbord's history with BIGZ, and of course, recording the album, which accidentally happened to be one of the last albums recorded there.
Well, I think that our name, Billboard, actually came from one rehearsal after in BIGZ.
Right,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Billboard across the bigs.
Yeah.
In the Yugospet side, opposite side from the building of the bigs, because we actually played in some big building across the street, across the street where the bigs was. And on that side was Bilbord, big Bilbord, and we were like, we couldn't get some proper name, and someone actually told, well, it can be, Bilbord like that, but just not too complicated. And that was actually our name was after rehearsal at Biggs. Our first gig was at Biggs. We have lots of memories and emotions in that building. That building wasn't in perfect condition, but when you look at years and years creating all the bands, all alternative scene in Belgrade, that's actually tough thing to swallow, so.
Our utmost respects to Biggs, since it's getting closing, and as a Turkish guy that has nothing to do with its history or anything, all I can say is it was such a miraculous and influencing place where I found out a graffiti about the struggle us people that had in 2013 in our hometown, and a graffiti that is respecting that Drangezi. Like it was just magical to see kilometers away from home, right over there in the walls of Biggs. It was wonderful. So it's probably much more sentimental for the local musicians, the local artists in Belgrade as well. How precious that building itself it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was actually some unique period, from all all the people you wanted to do it something special and independent, and think on other way, because alternative scene or non-mainstream scene in Belgrade, that was actually some island in the sea of one thinkers, like 85% of Serbia thinking just in one way. But that was actually superb place to hear and see something different. And I'm actually proud of myself to be little part of all of that.
Precisely. It was a safe haven for all you guys that have inspirations from all over the world and just trying to do something different, something unique, and something that is just for you, from your heart. So it probably will be missed. Let's salute that place here in this podcast as well.
We will build another one. We will build another one
I
somewhere
hope so.
in Belgrade. But we need just a little bit of time, and lots of energy. But we will see.
Alex, remind me, maybe our album is one of the last albums that was recorded in that building. So
Yeah.
It makes it all that more bittersweet, I guess.
yeah,
Actually, yeah. We 2 times we must cancel in because of this COVID. We had some really good vibration in that moment in BIGZ. So I'm really proud.
yeah. Actually, the first time I have to correct the COVID reason. Our basis wasn't prepared for recording, so that
No,
was the
no,
reason. Yeah.
no. Actually, we had that reason first quarantine period. That was actually Sunday, and we had it in next Friday. So that was the first time. Second time was something similar on the
Yeah.
summertime.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
that was third time actually.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and even after all those hurdles and obstacles, we kind of overcame it. And when we actually got to recording, it was such a chaotic thing. It was the height of Corona, basically, in the summer. And we were all wearing masks in the studio, which was very weird. And yeah, let's talk about the process of actually recording the album and the only 2 days that we had to record the entire thing.
Yeah,
And
the weekend.
The weekend. And tell me how you kind of saw that.
Well,
I can add
firstly,
some stuff as well.
yeah. Firstly, I had frustration because in all that week, because of second quarantine period. That was on Wednesday, maybe to locked up country again. That was second or third time with our postponement, and I was honestly, I was already, my frustrations came like really big, because I wanted to do it properly and with quality, and those things were actually distraction, big distraction. We were like found it out in Thursday or Friday that we were gonna play it, and we had actually just all day Saturday and Sunday, but we did it just like with day and a half. We did it actually in Saturday
Yeah.
and Sunday until the, I don't know, a little bit afternoon or something like that. So we were, especially Nicola and myself, because we were from the beginning, like 4 or 5 years, we were actually so prepared.
Yeah.
And I like to thank Nicola, the drummer, actually band like Dingo Spodali. We played with them like our first gigs, and going his studio in the big seventh floor. He came and actually doing his part of the job. The drums really good. Actually, we were efficient. Just a day and a half in Petrovic Place. That was good.
Yeah, and I think we also have to mention that the bassist we got in, Gökhan, was incredible.
Superb, absolutely superb. He was just like 15 or 20 days, like 9 songs. That was actually, he was exactly the thing that we need in that moment. The person. Gohan was really superb and probably the most professional of all of us. Because he had just 2 weeks or something like that to be prepared. And actually, he was 4 or 5 days ago. He was like, "Okay, I'm done. We don't need actually the last rehearsal." And we were like, "Wait, man, it's like only 10 days or 15 days for you to play." But he was like, "No, no, no. I was like playing in my home all the time," and that was good experience with him.
Yeah, let's salute Gökhan from here as well. Merhaba Gökhan.
Nice. So, with now that we've officially recorded the album, we went into the mixing phase, which both of you have had a hand in, and you've been giving me a lot of like standpoints on how to record it, what kind of sound you wanted, and I think it was really interesting because I always wanted to be able, and you gave me the opportunity to work on an album that wanted to go a bit further than the usual mixing processes, and we wanted to get that shoegaze sound. And you guys can also tell me a bit about what you saw about the mixing process, what treatment you wanted specifically to have, and of course, if you're happy with the sound.
Well, actually, the most important thing was the deal Johnny and I had with the sound. We were like on some meeting, before before we start actually. We made a deal that we need to find someone from the shoegaze, dreamy, ambient, psychedelic area, music area, to find someone who actually understand all those reverbs and all those space sound, and all those stuff. So that was actually our primary goal. And actually it was hard, it was really hard because we had some scene here in Serbia, but that's not the same, actually you can hear some other sound, it's like alternative, but it's not like ambient, so we had something, but it's really hard to find someone to work with you. And that was our primary goal, and we actually stick it with that plan and succeeded. That was the most important stuff. That's why I have lots of understanding and giving lots of liberty, for the productions and mastering, because we wanted to work with shoegaze people, dreamy people, not with some producers from the 70s, 80s, or 60s or something like that, because we already saw that like numerous times. That was the catch.
Maybe it would be better that we played or recorded every instrument separately, but that was very hard at that moment. Why I'm telling this, because we played on click like the band every instrument at that moment, like
in a live setting,
like live session, like live setting. So that's very hard to do and to record properly, especially like Peter said, during these 6 hours per day, because we had 8 hours to record it, but we didn't at that moment know that we will be tired and exhausted. So as time goes on, you are more and more tired and can't play like you would play if it would be few songs, for example, 2 or 3 songs per day maximum.
Yeah.
So the next day we didn't want to play after 5 hours because we were very exhausted, and it wouldn't make sense. And that's the reason also that we didn't have much concentration about recorded sound. We concentrated on playing, and then when we wanted to hear that, it was very hard to hear it if it was really the sound that we wanted to gain.
Yeah, that's the problem with live settings, and I think it's also important to notice that we had a very limited amount of time, and we got incredible sound, all of the limitations that we had, and I was actually surprised.
Yeah, actually we spread it out, with the noise and with the sound. That was most important stuff, because after a live session at Petrovic Place, we need to spread it out with those sounds and dreamy noise, and that was our primary goal. And actually that was the base and the surface of our songs, which is quite interesting, because that was totally something opposite of our earlier work, and I like it. That's the most important stuff. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and from a mixing perspective, it was also really interesting to see, because usually with shoegaze and all these dreamy effects, you always have to kind of take good care about how much space a certain instrument is taking up. And I have to also say, like, you guys did an amazing job. I barely touched the guitars because you created such a beautiful soundscape that you don't hear a lot. As well as with, of course, Gökhan, who is a rock. He is stable. He's like a mountain. He will not move. He's always on time and perfect.
Yeah, actually, he was the guy that we needed, because Nicola and myself was creative force, from the beginning. But you need steady written section to actually all your ideas or your ambient ideas actually to be possible to do that. And actually, this time I assisted on Nicola with his shoegaze sound, and he's assisted me for my lyrics. He actually wrote some lyrics in Kutak song first time, and we actually had some more team spirit for this record. And I think I can hear that, because for me it's better. It's more serious music and deeper, and with more emotions. And actually, I'm proud of this.
Yeah, and honestly, I could feel that when we were working together and recording, and even later on in these production sessions that we had. And it was a very, well, dramatic time while we were recording, especially since we had the restrictions. We couldn't record 5 days or a month. We had 2 days and we did it. Not only that, Nicola, you became a father as well.
Yeah.
Which is also incredible that you managed everything, working and being a father and managing to record for 16 hours in 2 days.
In 2 days.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And I was working in the COVID hospital at that time. Yeah.
Exactly.
For the second time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I want to add, just to end the production phase, that it was also really pleasure to kind of mix, especially the vocals were the biggest concern for me, and we managed to create, and for me the main thing was mixing vocals was to create a wide vocal, to create that it creates space.
Yeah, you can space. Exactly. You can remember that when I was in vocal sessions, I tried actually to be in perfect harmony with Nicola's guitars.
Yeah.
That was my primary goal, and my second goal was actually backing vocals. I wasn't do on our first album lots of that, but I actually realized that I can do that. So we were doing those backing vocals really good, and I remember that you were really satisfied with that.
I was, especially because when we were recording, we did double tracking of vocals, with one vocal being a less influence, less treatment of reverb and stuff, so it has a body, so it still is in the center of the whole mix, while the other vocal creates this beautiful ambient sound. And I think
we're building that like a pie, like growing, growing, like filling and filling, and on the other hand, our songs were like more basic. Half of the record was like basic in some chords, but we were actually trying to do like a 2 or 3 chord song, with lots of filling and lots of noise, and that was
without progression chords or something.
Yeah, that was something I enjoyed, because that was totally unique, and it was quite pleased with that.
Yeah, me too. And since it was a great time mixing, and I was very happy with the mix, even though it was very experimental. I'm like, oh, should I go a bit more crazy? Should I not go so crazy? And I think we got it right. And moving on to, I think, the final part of creating an album, as it was, is to get it mastered. And we actually, at least Peter, somehow managed to get quite a legendary figure in the mastering and production phase, and actually as a musician as well, Nick Maccabee of The Verve. And would you like to tell us a bit how you got into contact with him and how was working with him like?
I didn't expect it something like that, but again, we have a deal that we wanted to work with someone who actually understand all of this we said in last 30 minutes. And in some moments, actually, mixing was almost done, and in some moment we need the mastering guy, and we had something from our drummer. Our drummer want to go with the mastering with some studio from London or something like that. And in the meantime, he wasn't so satisfied with the progression of this sound and etc. So yeah, I took it to solve that problem myself, and just I had him on Facebook like a follower and friend, and I saw in his profile that he started with mastering like 2 years ago or something like that. And I was like, what the heck, I can try, and I can send him, a couple of our songs. And actually, I was shocked with his professionalism, because he answered me like 10 or 15 minutes later, hello, Peter. I can actually do that. The price was for me shockingly low. We actually could afford that. So we started to talk. And after some 10 or 15 days, he didn't answer me, and I was like, already okay, maybe he don't want to deal with us. It's like you have some thoughts in that position, like, okay, of course, he's like Nick McCabe, and he to do with someone with lots of money or some bigger artist. But actually, after 10 or 15 days, he answered me, and he actually apologized to me because he was like, I was in the middle of this COVID nightmare, and I need to talk with my little boy, and he was all humble and down to earth, and like, please, you must understand, because of COVID nightmare, I need to postpone something like that. And he started very quickly to work with the songs. And the moment that he sent the first song, I saw that it's gonna be like the best mastering we ever had. And he was incredible. He's actually some type of genius, because he's audiophile also, but have lots of respect for that. And actually, he gave a credit for you and for us. So I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, one of the my favorite band. It was really really privilege and pleasure to work with him. I was speechless.
Yeah, I was speechless too when he told me like in a message, "Hey Alex, I think your mixes are really good," and I was like, it was crazy, for a young producer to hear from someone like him, like, "Hey, I really like your mixes." It's like, wow, okay, little bit of fanboying.
I mean,
That was incredible.
that was like a lifetime check to work with someone you listen all the time, and I was like, I was really shocked because I couldn't believe it that someone who had like 3 Brit Awards in 1 year, and in that moment you had some really big bands like, for example, Radiohead, with OK Computer from that year, and he have like with his band like 3 Brit Awards from 1997 for that Urban Hymns album. And I was shocked that he was totally prepared to work with us, like all other artists, so professional, so determined. It was quite enjoyable to work with him, definitely.
It's such an incredible incentive where, when it comes to professional people like this, no matter how successful or how big they are, it's a second source of motivation to
Exactly.
continue doing your work. And that's
Exactly.
amazing.
Yeah.
Just meeting with
Exactly.
these people.
Exactly. No ego trips, no some bullshit, strictly professional, down to earth, humble. He even gave us big marketing points for just sharing something about us on his page, because he had lots of fans. But he looked at us like totally professional. I couldn't believe it, because in here in Serbia, you have some other things when you have some bigger artist or something like that, it starts to be like with those ego trips and bullshits, unnecessary, but that's like that. And with Nick, it was totally different, and I'm that's my actually lifetime goal. I'm super delighted to work with him, honestly.
Astonishing. And when it comes to this whole album, if you would like to choose one song from this album that you are most proud of, is there anything like that? Like I know the saying, like it's probably going to be a feeling where you'll feel like all of them are your children, they are your babies, they are your precious, and it's always hard to choose one between the whole bunch which you love entirely.
Yes, exactly. I have one actually. It's number 6, Sustenom teškom tonu. Actually, it's one of my best lyrics I ever wrote. But the thing about that song is actually lots of noise, but classy arrangement, like with 2 or 3 choruses repeating or something like that. Other song, number 2, Kutak, was something I never did. It was all upside down and in some totally like unique sound. So something between those songs. Also in Sustenom teškom tonu song, we had like some strange rhythm, not like basic one. We had some 7/8 rhythm. That was interesting. We did it like first time. Something between those songs, number 2 or number 6, but I can't choose.
Well, I agree with Peter. That song is really good, and Alex also did a good job with mixing process, because the vocals are really, really
Probably
good
the
done.
best.
Yeah, the best. Yeah. With that echo and sound that goes on and on and on and never ends. So I like that effect. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was.
I can still I can actually in 30 years time I can stand still, with that song and be like that was like proper job we did.
Yeah,
Like
and I maybe one of my favorite songs is "Život bez kolora" or "Life Without Colors." That's the song that.
complex emotions.
Yeah. It has a text that said about people who are dreaming and who don't succeed anything with that dreaming, but they keep dreaming and trying to success. Yeah. So trying to succeed. So Peter always thought that the song is a depressive one, but not to me. So I think that is my favorite song.
I think I can add as well that I think, as you said, Kutak is, even when I was mixing it, everything felt right. I don't know why. It had a certain different
It's
emotion.
different. It's different. It's
Absolutely.
different than any other, and that was my artistic goal, to have something unique, and that's unique. You can't say it. It's like it's something similar, like Steel Corners, but it's not, and it's not anything of some influence. It's just Bilbord, and I'm so proud because of that. I actually didn't realize that until the mixing. We were like, suddenly maybe it would be our third single, so we will see.
I think that's because I wanted it. I pushed it to be the best mix.
Yeah, and this time, we were like, we need to listen other people about the songs. I think that's really important for your music, because you have some neutral ear, someone who actually didn't listen and play with you all those months and weeks and years. So we started to recognize and actually some other voices about our songs, and we did it with Sanichi Budni, and we will probably do with Kutak. But on the other hand, Sustenom teškom tonu is really good. So we will see, we will see what we have a couple of months to choose it, because 6 month time we will try to have one more single. So.
Yeah, and it's also, I think it's good to note that your next single, which is coming out on the day this album is released, which is probably out by the time this podcast airs, is Sanjuči Budni, which is also one of my favorite tracks on the album, and with the music video. So it'll all be in the link below for everyone to check out. At the end, I want to say basically thank you guys for coming onto the show. It was
You're
a
welcome.
lot
A lot
of
of
fun.
Thank you for inviting us.
Anytime, guys. So before we go, I want to ask you a question. Like, what is the future of Bilbord? What do you guys see doing? Your new single is coming out. The album is finally out. What's the next step? I mean, besides playing live, unfortunately, that's not possible. But I'm sure you guys already have some plans.
Well, I don't know about Nicola, but my goal was to actually play this live with noise, and enjoy in music, because in some moments we know to play better live when we're in good form, So I just wanted to play this, but with this COVID shit, I don't know. I just want some basics, just to go on some gigs, or maybe some festival or something like that, to play with in front of people. That was actually something I almost forgot, because this last year was a little bit nightmare. I don't know, but um, on the long term period, to have some creativity and pushing forward. But on the other thing, you need a lot of energy and a lot of money and a lot of patience to do that, and I'm a little bit exhausted because all of this. So we will see. In a couple of months, we will see what to do, and that's it.
Well, yes, for sure. Now we will promote this album, and we will
Yeah.
see about the third single from this album. And I have idea, maybe for our fans or listeners to choose what song it should be, and we will listen to them also. What if it would be the next single? So
Yeah.
we will see about that. And nowadays, of course, the gigs and live shows are canceled, so we will see in the future. But I think that we can make
Live sessions.
yeah, live sessions also, and I think that we can make a third album that will be better than this one. Not I don't think that this album is bad, but I think that the timing and the atmosphere of album is not uprising, and we need nowadays something uprising, something joyful, and it's a little bit depressive album. So we will see how the listeners would like it. Yeah, because depression is all around us, and people don't want to listen more depressive stuff. So we will see.
Well, there's a saying, like, there's no better medicine than for your illness, quoting illness, than the illness itself. So I suppose in these not so fortunate times, listening to a mood of depression might be able to help people to, feel more energetic in these times that we are trying to stay between four walls. And I'm pretty sure that you are going to support all your listeners with some more joyful music by going live, making live streams, etc. And honestly, when we are out of this, I'm sure that you are going to giving out the best live performance that is available up your sleeve to all your listeners, to all your fans out there. I, for one, personally can't wait to come back, like wait this shit to go over and come back over there and see you guys live. And it will be a great relief for all these people that are listening to this.
I also want to say that I think Nicola has a point. The album has a certain darkness to it, but I also, I think I listened to the album more than anyone else at this point, going into the details of all the sounds and so on. And the thing is, it has a certain melancholia going on, but there is a sense of hope, which I like the most. And I mean, your album is called translated, Svaki Minut, Dragocen is every minute is precious. And I feel that there's a certain hope behind all this.
Yes, it must be some hope actually, because that's the point. The most important stuff was honesty, and to put your emotions on paper, and to do the song the more honesty you can. So in this couple of years, it was like lots of ups and downs, So I wanted to create just like brutal honesty, and that was our plan, and I think we succeeded.
Yeah, that's the environment, and we copy that on our sound. So maybe it wouldn't be interesting now, but for 20, 30 years, maybe some will see how did people feel in Belgrade, Serbia at that moment when COVID
exactly.
began.
Exactly.
So
all in all, I think I'm looking forward to the release of the album. I've been waiting for it for quite a while, and I really love this album, not just because I worked on it, but because I really think it's a special album for all of us. And I really hope that people will go and listen to it. I mean, people who are listening, go into the links, go to the album, buy it, listen to it, stream it, whatever. It's a really special album for this kind of time. It has a bit of the zeitgeist going on about what's happening in the world and in Serbia as well, and in the underground scene. So yeah, I think we are at the end of the podcast. Guys, do you have anything else you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, we're just like happy because of the releasing of this. We played this like 4 or 5 years preparing. Being patient.
yeah.
And personally, I can just enjoy in this period. And I'm proud of myself and on Johnny. So on all of us, because of this, it was a lifetime experience, because all of the things from COVID situation till cancellation till changing members, trying again and again. Maybe you're not remembered that, Alex, but we were on Messenger. I was typing you, trying to find you because of shoegaze, sound.
Yeah.
And we were like, we need that guy because he likes shoegaze, and we need to do this proper. And that was actually all of our efforts was successful, because of trying again and again. So I'm pleased with that.
I'm pleased too. And well, guys, this was an amazing talk. Thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
And you have been listening to the Mothership Audio Podcast. And listen to the album, the description, everything, the links will be there. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
See you in the next episode, guys. Bye-bye.